Close your eyes. Take a deep breath. Go to your happy place. This place is safe. This place is calm and serene. This is the only place where you can think about only one thing. That thing is... It's time for another reaction video. Hello and welcome, this is Philip and we're finally back after a while. So today we're going to be reacting to the impeccable, distinguished art of Ayran Oberto. And how some of you may call him, Ayran Oberto. This artist is suggested by one of the comments. Thank you so much for that. He's a concept artist and illustrator from Spain, and his art is anything but ordinary. And today we're going to be taking a look exactly what is going on with his art. So let's do it. So as usual, I have his ArtStation page here with me. I absolutely love this. I think it's amazing. Here's the things that I really love about it. There are already things that are contrasting each other, which makes it really interesting and impactful. The reason why it's so impactful is because the use of hard edges, the shape language, also the black versus the very light skin tone. But that's not all.
But wait, there's more.
The most amazing thing is the fact that he's able to stylize and make a caricature portrait, but it tells so much about his skills of knowing how to exaggerate certain facial features in a similar way caricature artists do as well. You take a look at the most prominent facial features and you exaggerate them even further, whether that is to make it bigger or smaller. And that understanding, you see it throughout stylized styles, cartoony styles, and even in animation. The exaggeration and the caricature, the expression of not only the style, but also in the movement is crucial for portraying like an expressive art piece. And in animation, expression is key. And in this case, expressiveness is the brand of his art style, if you will. As you can see, he grabs some prominent facial features and he exaggerated even further to create that stylized, that caricaturized feel. That to me creates an artwork that is super memorable. The only thing is, give this person some sleep. They look really tired. So let's go to the next one. This one is called Lopraz. I love this piece because he's focusing very heavily on the contrast between colors when there's light versus shadow, right? When you see this light, like this window light hitting his face, is very yellow versus a bit more cool, bluish, less saturated shadow. It's something you're gonna see in more of his pieces, that he's gonna focus on various things to showcase a very specific experimentation. I love these faces that you can tell that it's heavily based on realistic knowledge of painting realistic faces, but he twisted a little bit around, you know? It creates like very unique, expressive portraits. And portraits is the thing that he's focusing on heavily. It's just to show that, look, there are things that you can focus on as an artist. So one thing here again, and it's something you're going to see in all of his portraits, is the expressiveness of his style. You can see some of his line works seeping through the rendering. I like that. Man, I just don't know what this expression is. Is it sad? Is it defeated? Is it mad? Is it savage? Maybe is it all of those things? He looks like the guy that just lost a Smash Bros tournament. Now let's go to the next one. Another thing that he's heavily focusing on is values. Focusing on values is a very good way to understand lighting and the variations between lights and darks, and how to create contrast and impactful pieces in that way. It's a good way to train and focus and practice lighting. It's good to practice with different light sources from different kind of angles, because then you can create whatever the fuck you want. Like if you know all these, you have this visual library of all these light sources and light directions. You can paint any kind of portrait and you can make it as interesting as you want. And the knowledge that you gathered with knowing lighting, light sources, lighting directions also contributes to how impactful your piece is gonna be. Now this one is very, very interesting because it takes the aspect of expressiveness to the max. It's such an interesting character. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if animation studios look for people like him for the visual development of interesting characters.
Ah, Mr. Oberto. I'm the art director of Nicktoons. We're looking for someone who can design a character that is a combination of Iggy Pop and Abraham Lincoln on the verge of becoming undead. I think you're the right guy we're looking for. What do you mean Iggy Pop and undead is a tautology?
The reason also what I think expressive characters are important, the expression in your art, it can tell a story. You can almost think about a lot of things of this character's background, how he is, how he acts, how he talks, just by looking at his face. Like if you would give this to a voice actor, he would have no hard time just figuring out like a voice for this character immediately. Here's gonna be my terrible take for his voice.
Ah, the rendering on my face is pretty good, I must say.
I love this fucking art, man. I don't like to compare artists to each other, but I really get a lot of Maxon Verheyen vibes from this. I also get a lot of Anthony Jones vibes from it, like a mixture of these two. You merge them together, you fusion, Dragon Ball fusion these together. You get something like this. It's amazing. Again, the expression, the motion, the impact is showcasing with values. Like areas in here that are being more concave, creating more shadow. A light direction here where the light is hitting here the strongest. Right on his forehead where he's balding. That's kind of embarrassing for this guy, but it's truly showcasing the bald spot right here. These beautiful, tasty details of like intricate folding in the skin creates like a surreal, abstract, disturbing art. And it's all of these adjectives combined that makes this art piece truly beautiful. He's enjoying it as well. Either that or is suffering. I don't know what to make of it. This is another piece where he's experimenting with colors. Another great way to showcase that he experiments to create various different results. I just think it's beautiful colors, man. These cool tones together with this magenta, such a cool, beautiful combination against a powerful white background. Again, the impact the colors have, it also has a lot to do with presentation. Like the way he's presenting what he wants to showcase, which is colors, he's doing it in the most effective way possible. It's such a beautiful color combination right here. If we go to the next one, oh my god! I want to cry. This makes me want to cry. Look at these beautiful colors, man. The warm versus the cooler, and the saturation of these colors are so sophisticated, man. It truly shows that he's just heavily wants to showcase the beauty of the colors within something that he loves doing, which is portraits. Ooh, we got something more fantasy-esque looking here. Again, everything. The silhouette, the shapes of this portrait is really coming through, contrasted by the clear background, really letting the shape language and the silhouette speak. And then we have like the stylization, the caricature of some facial features. What makes this interesting as well is the use of textures. The textures coming through with the use of light. We have this really cool lighting dispersing down the face. The light really showing the textures of the face. And then we have warm shadows. And then the background, dude. Oh, the color of the background contrasting with the colors here. It's beautiful, man. I love hard edges. And he loves hard edges. We all love hard edges. You can also see that he's letting the color be affected by the very bright light that's coming from the back. Contrasting that by having the face in the shadows, which is a little bit darker. And then letting that bright light affect the color of the hair. And that's where the saturation is coming from, basically. Now let's not forget the icing on the cake. These bright red eyes. He does every trick in the book to make his art give impact. You know, impact? This, boom! You look at it and boom! It catches you, it captivates you, it catches your attention, it grabs you. That's impact. That's impact. And that's exactly what he's doing in all of his pieces. Like, you know what this oh my god, I can't speak. Red, bright, saturated eyes are doing, right? You have this face in the shadows, and then these eyes are capturing your attention. It's beautiful. Now we're getting to more of his later paintings, showcasing a little bit more heavier experimentation. These are one of his artworks where it really begs the question, what is the approach to it? What is the approach, the workflow? What is he doing to achieve this result? As you can see here, like almost like mixed painting in water. You know, when you mix the painting in the water, you get these really fluid like patterns. Extremely beautiful. Like again, the contrasting the colorful part of the face versus the more of the white matte material. Again, impactful. Another impactful piece. The darkness of the hair merging with the background versus the white face. Another way of creating impact. And then we have again these patterns, these very fluid painterly patterns in the face. Again here. And then it really begs the question, is this photo bashed or not? Whether he did it or not, for me the most important part is the result and the fact that he's experimenting to create and to achieve a certain result that is really impactful. You can achieve this by photo bashing, grabbing like fluid paint textures and then putting on different kind of layer modes and then paint over it to make it really painterly. So just as an example, I can do the same thing in one of my own artworks. So let's go to Photoshop. So I have here one of my own artworks, and if I would try to do the same thing, I could put like a painted texture right here. I can put it in a different layer. I can put it on lighten or maybe pin light so it's not as extreme. Now it just feels like he fell into a bucket of paint. And now I wouldn't leave it like this. I would want to create a more painterly result, right? So I would just paint over it. Like, look where I see patterns and create blobs of color of my own. I wouldn't do it as rough as I'm doing it right now, but just as a quick example, you know. He might have used a similar technique or the use of textures. Whether he did it or not, ultimately, the reason why Ayran's art looks amazing and like beautifully crafted artworks is because of his understanding. The techniques or the use of experimentation is just as good as your understanding of it. And because he knows how to paint realistically first, that's the reason why his portraits have a lot of expression. He can characterize them a lot. He can use the values in a way that makes his paintings impactful. The most important takeaway of his art, I feel, making something look good, like beautiful experimental artworks, comes from an understanding first. The technique or the experimentation is not a correlation of good artwork. The understanding is. So if we're taking all that in mind and we're looking at these kind of pieces, I think it's important to look at it and be inspired by it in a way that makes you think. I want to think about ways also how to make impact, expression in my art. Try different color approaches. Try different approaches in terms of rendering and painting. Different approaches in presentation. All these things, like looking at it and being inspired and thinking, I want to try and see in what way my art can be distinguished. This is going to be it, guys. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, all this kind of stuff. Thank you so much for watching. I really fucking appreciate it. I'm going to be seeing you on the next one. See ya.